It's time to play some stuff.
Madam Lockhart, you survived. Alright, enough with the goofball Star Wars-ish type references here. So, here we are at the monk training grounds, which would probably be the class hall for monks, assuming we don't hear anything different. Then, this is going to be the class hall for monks in Legion. So, question number one, where's the training dummies? I mean, there's training bags, but they're flagged as friendly, so you can't really attack them. Shouldn't a place like this have training dummies or something so you can test DPS or something like that? Alright, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more traveling for this video. So here is Madam Lockhart, my former pseudo-main from Miss Pandaria. At least have her face the sun, darn it. My former pseudo-main from Miss Pandaria, the monk who started out as a priest originally. And it's not just a backstory either. I did used to have a priest character named Lockhart years and years ago in WoW Classic, back when human priests had the feedback ability and stuff like that. When the whole monk thing came out, I was like, yeah, let's bring her back as an alt, and basically have the story be that she was a priest who decided to she wanted to start kicking ass, so she became a monk. Although because of her priestly background, she's biased towards healing, as her main spec is right now. Main spec, Mistweaver. Secondary spec, Brewmaster. My first ever character with no DPS spec. And I'd say it's worked out quite well, although the robe's investments have given way to a more laid-back, more casual, monkish type, I can do kung fu in these shorts type setup, or maybe I was a little too inspired by Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. Madam Lockhart has done well for herself in the Warcraft universe as far as transmogs go, although the white mantle and whatnot, and some of the apparel still shows that, yeah, she was originally a priest. So what are we here to talk about? Obviously monks. That's a player, right? Yep. Hi, Duckfang from Zul'jin. Pandaren, Alliance or Horde? Oh, Horde. Anyways, probably AFK. So, what are we here to talk about? Well, the title says it all. Clunky Monks 2.0. Recently, I went to a WoW aggregator site called, I believe it's RealmPop, that takes armory data, character data, realm data, and aggregates it all together, and talks about or shows the pie charts on what people are playing and what their builds are and things like that. And what do you know? An expansion after the end of Mists of Pandaria, and monks are the least played class in the entire game. And they're even more of the least played class at level 100. Now, early on, I rightly pointed out that monks had some issues. I called them clunky monks because they were practically the opposite of druids. Whereas druids were designed so that they could be more hybrid-ish, monks always seem to be the exact opposite. So, for example, we have stances and things like that, but depending on what spec you are, you may not have all your stances. I believe, let's just switch over. I don't have agility gear yet, but let's switch over to Brewmaster. I believe the only stance you have is the cow stance for tanking. Yup, and if you switch over to DPS spec, the only stance you have is Stance of the Tiger for doing damage. So, nothing like Death Knights, nothing like Druids, where you still have your other stances and whatnot, but you're not as good if you switch to an off-spec stance. If these monk specs are going to be so disparate from one another, and be like the opposite of class design for Death Knights, Druids, etc., where there's a little bit of flexibility if you're in easier content to switch from tank to DPS to healer and back and all that other fun stuff. Heck, Druids are practically designed around that kind of flexibility. If a class goes in the absolute opposite direction, like monks, then no wonder they're the least played class. Not to mention, with Mistweavers in particular, they were nerfed via this special setup for Fistweavers that locks you out of all your healing spells except Surging Mist, I believe, when you're not in Serpent stance. So it's supposed to... The idea was, oh, you're supposed to have just a global cooldown in order to activate your heals. Unfortunately, that is not the way that it has turned out. If I try and click on this heal spell right here, must be in Serpent Stance. Must be in Serpent Stance. So you actually have to click over before you can actually access these heals. Now compare that to a druid, where if you access an ability like Dash or Prowl or something from the wrong form, you instantly get switched over. Here's the interesting part. Any Mistweaver that wants to play like in Mists of Pandaria only needs to macro all their stuff. That's what I currently have with Jab right now. You can't attack when you're in Serpent Stance, but if I run up to something and want to start attacking it, I just push the Jab button and I switch over to the other stance. Likewise, I can do the same thing, let's put Renewing Mist on here, with the macro for Renewing Mist. Click that, oops, someone's taking down the Shah. And you just click once, it switches you to the stance, and you click again to cast the spell. Now I can macro this, of course. I can macro these over to, let me switch back here. I can macro these over to add-ons like Voodoo for healing, and essentially regain, with a couple extra global cooldowns, the old playstyle of Mists of Pandaria. But here's the thing. Paladins used to be so terrible that you had to macro a bunch of stuff if you weren't such and such spec. Maybe we'll talk about that at some later dates. But there once was a time when Blizzard considered having to macro a bunch of stuff as bad design, and they wanted to try and eliminate the need to use all kinds of macros. Hence we have some of the stuff that we have today. Gee, I wonder why they did a 180 on their design. Well, you know, just like with the subscription numbers with people mad at Warlords of Draenor, the numbers speak for themselves, with monks being the least played class in the game, and even less at max level. Okay, let's go to Stormwind for the next part of this discussion. Or some other city that has target dummies.
I love Darnassus. Trees everywhere.
Yeah, and also target dummies where you usually don't have some kind of DPS person just punching away at it. Oh, there was a rogue over there, level 25 when I got here, so I don't know if he's planning on actually hitting anything at level 25, but the warm lighting really complements her extremely well. Or that's just me admiring the Blizzard art team carrying this expansion once again, but makes you wonder why night elves are bluish in this kind of lighting. Anywho, alright, let's get some fighting underway. The other thing that has changed with this stuff is the global cooldown is now 1.5 seconds. Which takes away from this feeling. It's just clunky as heck compared to the old way. Okay. And yeah, sure, maybe Fistweavers have Rising Sun Kick now, which previously only DPS monks had. But it's just clunky with this global cooldown. I mean, I feel like I'm playing Final Fantasy. Because Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, is infamous for this kind of slow punch in the thing's gameplay. Now, when Monks first came out, Blizzard said that they were going for more of a Street Fighter type fighting game type feel with how Monks were supposed to feel. But when you have to wait longer between button presses, and it's like, okay, now I'm gonna punch, now I'm gonna kick, now I'm gonna do a spin thing, now I'm gonna do this, now I'm gonna, it just gets away from that design. They supposedly were going for a fighting game kind of feel with the twitchiness and hitting various keys and doing combos and stuff, but you don't see that with this slow global cooldown. Now, all this clunkiness, by the way, just adds unnecessary difficulty, or just adds unnecessary complication to a healing class that's supposed to be able to heal people while doing damage. I mean, here's my old macro. If you remember, we just running around punching and it just jab, punch, last go around. Look how much this is slowed down. You're like, okay, now I'm going to swing. Now I'm going to punch. Now I'm going to swing. Now I'm going to punch. Where is this whole thing? Where is this whole thing with the fighting game feel with Clunky Monks 2.0? Answer? Nowhere, of course. And don't forget, if you want to do any healing, you better remember to either macro everything up or change to Serpent Stance first. By the way, the token range damage is pathetic. Let's switch over to the Raider dummy so the damage isn't increased because of previous expansion content. Nope, wrong one. Miss. There we go. So here's the stupid part. In Serpent Stance, that's level 102, that's why it's not hitting half the time. In Serpent Stance, you can basically do that all day. It's basically your token damage, but it's crap damage. If you switch over to Spirited Crane, and you want to just throw out some old-fashioned lightning, it saps a bunch of your mana. Look at that! Look at how much that dropped down like that. Oh, down to half already, and it only lasts for a couple of seconds. So, it's total garbage. Get lost, Druid. I'm not giving you gold. I'm not dueling you. I am recording a YouTube video. Ah, WoW players. Please excuse me while I change the venue where some idiot that wanted to play as a cat isn't going to come ruin everything.
Epic fail.
Okay, Pandaria. No level 10 cat druids running around here. And, is anybody still out here? So, alright, yeah, the old Pandaria shrines over by the target dummies, and there's kind of dust collecting on them because there's other places to practice nowadays. Actually, I could go to the garrison if I really wanted to. Oh, wait, nope, not enough, not high enough for the garrison level. So, yeah. So, anyways, in the fist-weaving stance, the mana cost is absolutely prohibitive for just a couple of seconds of lightning. So what this means is that Serpent Stance, in terms of pulling, without killing your ability to heal people, it is far better to just do this in Serpent Stance than it is to your aka token damage, than it is to use the one that'll actually help out with fist weaving and stuff like that. Matter of fact, what does this actually do? It improves the functionality of Jade Lightning and Spinning Crane Kick. Yeah, but does it actually heal people? Well, there's one way to test that out. Let's take some damage as soon as combat breaks. There we go. Easiest way to take some damage? This way. Okay, there we go. Now, we attack the dummy. Nope. Not gonna work. The only time that's gonna work is when it's prohibitive, when it's mana prohibitive like that. Oh yeah, look at that. So is it really worth it to blow through? Yeah, look at this crap. So the better pulling or whatever, the better way to pull, so to speak, is in the healing stance. Or, other stuff like that. So basically, unless you take something like Chi Wave or something, or the Chi Blast, which is like the Hadouken attack. Yeah, see that? Just jab twice, which you're not supposed to ever do. Alright, it's enough of that. But yeah, too clunky. Far too clunky, and the numbers reflect that. Monks are the least played class in the game right now. Whether or not that changes depends on whether or not Blizzard... They're supposed to look at Mistweavers again for the redesign, and hopefully they take a good hard look at what they've done, because it's really getting old when they come out with a new class, and it shines during its debut expansion, and then it's total crap in the follow-up expansion. The good news is, though, that Death Knights were cool in Lich King, but lousy in Cataclysm, but now they're back to one of the more popular classes in the game right now. So eventually these classes do get tweaked and retuned, and they recover. So, but the thing is, why should there be this post-expansion lull in the first place? I mean, it'd be nice to have a Demon Hunter in Legion, but obviously I shouldn't get attached to the Demon Hunter, because the Demon Hunter might not be very good at anything in the expansion afterwards, and then maybe the expansion after that, Demon Hunters will get good again and they'll be worth playing again. See, I mean, this whole cycle and stuff like that, it's just not worth it. And in the case of Clunky Monks, well, I've used the term before, even during their heyday in Mists of Pandaria. It makes me wonder when Blizzard is going to get their act together in terms of how this class is designed. But hey, they want to start seeing some better numbers, they're going to have to start putting in some better mechanics. That's just the way things go, as some would say. Alright, that's another topic that I can check off the list as I continue the path towards concluding the commentary on Warlords of Draenor, or at least the formal stuff. I might still do some informal stuff from time to time afterwards, and I certainly want to check out the revamps in the pre-launch patch for Legion, but Be nice to take a break from this game and see how Guild Wars has been doing and check out WildStar a little bit more. So, we continue the march towards closure on the Warlords of Draenor commentary. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you didn't insta-dislike this video because of gaming video hate, thanks for that as well. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by, and game on!